Hello and welcome to season 3 of the Choice Wisdom podcast. I'm your host, Gail Goodman Lynch. And as I promised on my last episode, my audio only episodes, we are now on video, gone to make a little upgrade. And I've made an even bigger upgrade by bringing on the fabulous Louisa Garrett, who is here. Yay! Yeah. And, this is the podcast where we talk about the choices that we make that create the life that we want. And that the lives we want are created by our thoughts. And those thoughts create actions and then they create outcomes. And one of the things that you and I both have talked about many times is that, it is kind of always a work in progress, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's all about inspiring each other and reminding each other that, hey, even when, the poop hits the fan, as they say, life is still happening here and life is good. And, the joy is in the experience. So
Yes.
you have an amazing experience because one,
Do I?
you were on my first episode of Choice Wisdom, and we talked about this, and
I
that was
was.
2 years ago. And
Hmm.
you were coming up on about 6 years worth of doing a daily video every single day. We're talking 365 days a year,
Yeah.
kindness. And now you're at almost 8 years.
We're almost there. I think it's in a few weeks, sometime in the middle of February. I don't have the exact date. I think it's like February 12th, maybe somewhere around there.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, we're
I
coming.
love that I love seeing you in my feed every day.
Oh, thank you so much.
When the algorithms decide to show you to me too, sometimes I have to hunt for it. You know how that goes, but
People tell me that I'm like, but I do it every day. What is
you,
it? But it's the
every
algorithm.
day.
It's the
Yeah,
algorithm.
it's the algorithm gods.
Yeah.
Although apparently you can pray to the algorithms and ask them to send you good things. So that's what I do. I agree
Really?
with you when I do that, honestly.
Okay.
So so as we kick off season 3, you and I've talked about this.
Yeah.
First, I reached out because I was like, I would love to take this to video, but I don't want to do it all by myself. And I
I was
want
so happy we met up.
you.
Where were we? It was Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
What
we
was the
went.
event?
Yeah, we went to the Kindness Festival
Yes,
in
we did.
Dallas, and I forget what annual festival that is.
Yeah.
Talk about kindness,
Yeah.
right?
It was very symbiotic.
Yeah, and we were like, "Hey, let's do this together," you
And
know?
as soon as you asked me, I was like, I was so excited. Like, thank you so much for even considering. But I was so excited to jump into this with you.
I am so delighted to have you. And now we need to give people a reason why they should come back and watch us every time
Sure.
we record an episode, right? Because we were joking about this. It's like we both love Michelle Obama's podcast with her brother, but we're not Michelle Obama.
We're not Michelle
People are
Obama.
not going to
Yeah.
come looking for us, Oh, I want to see Gail or Louisa. So let's talk about
But you
our
know what?
story.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah, we are going to get there.
People are
That's
going to
like the
say, "Have you
plan.
seen the Choice Wisdom podcast?" So yeah,
Yeah, they're going to be like, tune in. These girls know what they're talking about. These wild, wise midlife women. Let's tune in and talk to them. So,
exactly.
yeah. So tell me your story. We talked
Hmm.
about it on season 1, but I'd love to know now that you've been doing almost 8 years
Yeah.
of showing up in kindness and like you doubled down on your kindness journey. And it was because your niece kept telling you it wasn't what you said, but how you said it.
Yes.
And used to be snarky and sarcastic and, you know,
All the things.
amen. Me too.
Yeah.
It's like I looked at the world through a lens of like fear and loathing and, when's the next
Listen,
shoe gonna
sarcasm
fall?
was definitely my default. It was I had a comment ready for you. It didn't matter. Like I was ready. My sarcastic meter was way up there. And so yeah, and wasn't until my niece kept telling me, and she said it often. It's
Like
not
every
what you say, it's
day.
how you say it. Yeah. And she like, because, we talked about this on that very first episode, but she lived with me during her high school years. And, as you have a senior in high school right now, like you tell them to do something and, sometimes they might have like a little look or a little comment. And I literally was like, I don't care how I said it. Just do what I said to do.
Let's do it already.
Just like if you would do it, I wouldn't have to say anything. I mean, come on. And she kept saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you say, it's like literally. And literally about 8 months, 6 to 8 months, maybe even a year after that, after her initially telling me that and keep kept saying it, that I somebody said something to me, and I said, "Why did you say it like that?" And then in my head, her little voice said, "It's not what you say, it's how you say it."
Yeah.
And at that very moment, it was like, "Oh wow, okay, I
Yeah.
get it. I hear you now."
The
And it
light
was
bulb went on.
the light bulb went on, and because at that time, whew, that was like 10 years ago or more than that. Um, Currently I have 30 nieces and nephews, and I think I had about 22, 23 nieces and nephews back then.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And so if I wanted to be a good example to my nieces and nephews, because they are the lights of my life, I absolutely adore them. I love them so much. If I wanted to be an example to them, then I needed to be an example to them. If I wanted them to be good humans and to make good choices, good decisions, then I needed to model that. And being sarcastic was not modeling the type of behavior that I thought I needed to be modeling for my nieces and nephews. And so I made a change. It didn't happen overnight, obviously. It did
Yeah.
not happen overnight. Like those first 2 to 3 years um, was a little bit of a struggle because like I said, my default was sarcasm. And I had to run everything through. I had to be like, ooh, you can't say that. Nope, can't say that. Ooh, okay, yeah, yeah, I can say that. I can say that. And so I literally had to filter myself until I got into a cadence of that's just how I am now. Like there's sometimes I still have to filter myself if we're being honest,
Oh,
but
right. Yeah.
yeah. But for the most part, my default is kindness. And so it has been, this is 26. My kindness journey actually started, I think, in 2012. So we're on 14 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah, 14
Yeah.
years. So, and no one's perfect. I still have my moments. I still uh, catch myself when I'm not my best self, but now I recognize it immediately, and then I can make choices to make it better. And so I think the world is a good place. But I also think that we need to step up more so that we can have more love, have more kindness in the world. It starts with us. It really does.
Yeah.
And if we can start making those choices in our own lives, then that's going to ripple out into the rest of the world.
Amen to that. And I love the fact that it's just personable or it's personal accountability at the
Yeah.
end of the day. Because when I first started my kindness journey, if you will, or my just healing journey, because I had
Yeah.
a similar situation. It was about 10 years ago. I totally fell apart. I couldn't
Mm.
get out of bed for a week. And I had been the successful business owner, and prior to that, the successful corporate, executive, da 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 da, And people from the outside would be, if you took asked anybody 10 years ago, is Gail got it all together? Who do you admire, in terms of how they run their life? People would say, oh, it's like Gail's totally got it together. She's like the get it done gal. She's always funny, she's always laughing, she's always having a good time. But all of that was built, I figured out, on a house of cards
Oh.
because it was sitting on just this level of fear.
Hmm.
So much of what I did 10 years ago was fear informed, I would say. It's like, I'm worried about, my business failing, or I'm worried about what people are going to think about me, or I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. I spent so much time in worry that I literally had built like this outward, manifestation of myself that looked wildly successful, but
Yeah.
underneath the whole thing was just crumbling all the time. And when I look back from 10 years forward, I realized it was just simply fear. And I recently wrote about this in my newsletter. It was at the end of the year. So it was the 10-year anniversary of my father passing away.
Oh, wow. Hmm.
And my dad and I were really close. And I remember right before he died that I'd said, the biggest regret I have of you going is that, you're probably the only person on this planet who really gets me, right? Because we were
Mm,
so much alike.
yeah.
And 10 years later, I look back at how I'd said that to him and I thought, wow, yes, we were alike, but I can't say that now
Yeah.
because I have moved beyond so much of the fearful way of being.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
chosen that. I've had to make really distinct choices to get out of that endless loop of worry and fear. Um,
Yeah.
that now when I look at my father in the past, I still love him and still very feel very connected to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's like I couldn't be like that if you held a gun to my head today, Louisa, because and it's all practice, right? Practice makes permanent, and it's making all these choices.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So 10 years seems like a long time, but it's also a very short time, right? Because
Agreed.
when you think about it in age, when you think of like a 10-year-old kid, he's only 10. You know what I mean? But if you've been on
Yeah.
a job for 10 years, like you've been on a job for 10 years. You know what I'm
Depending on
saying?
the job, it really feels like 10 years.
And so, being the 10-year anniversary of your dad's passing, that's a whole decade of you learning and evolving and growing. And I think that's absolutely amazing that you have made that choice to um, just take the journey very seriously and become the person that you're becoming right now. Because I don't think we ever get to a destination in regards to growth and humanity. I
I
think we're
agree.
always ever evolving, ever learning. So even if we get to here, that's not it because there's still all of this to go. And so that's amazing that you have done that for the last decade.
Yeah, and it's been repetitive work too, because one
Yeah.
of the things that I've really figured out about choice making is that you have to make the same choice over and over again. It's
Hmm.
not a once and done ever. Like you think about like when you go to a retreat, right? And you get like all inspired and like, oh, I've had to change my whole life and I'm gonna,
Yeah.
be this person now. And then you get home and the laundry's piled up and you got to walk the dog and you got to go to work and all these other things start, coming back into life and you
Yeah.
kind of forget all that euphoria that you had in that moment when you were at that retreat. And capturing that again is really going back and reviewing what you learned
Yeah.
and reinstalling it into your system, but it's like almost every day. So like I found, like you were talking about, my thoughts would go back to where they always had gone, right?
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
had to very consciously watch that and say, I'm going to make a different choice. I'm going to think differently.
Yeah.
And reprogramming your subconscious is a repetitive action because it got programmed as a repetitive action in the first place, right?
Yep. a hundred
Bruce
percent.
Lipton, don't know if you know of his work. He talks about like from the age you're 0 to about 7, you're like getting filled up with everybody else's stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have a conscious mind. You literally just absorb everything that's coming at you. And it's from parents and caregivers and all very well-meaning people, but they also install a lot of their own garbage into the system, right?
100%.
And it's all in there, and then and it keeps getting repeated because then you reinforce it over and over and over and over again with repetitive thinking. And when you stop that craziness and you say, okay, I'm going to make a different choice, I'm going to be kind today. And I'm not going to be sarcastic, Louisa. I'm going to be kind, Louisa.
Yeah.
You interrupt the system, but then you got to keep at it, right? What's your best advice for like keeping at it? I mean, how did you stick with it?
Whew. Um, Literally, it was honestly, it was my nieces and nephews because I love them so much.
Your reason. Yes. Everybody's got
That
a reason.
it started out with them, right? It started out that was my why, but then I realized that it was deeper than that because it's that doing the work. And I read something the other day. What did it say? It said, healing also means taking responsibility for your role in your suffering.
Mm.
And
I
so,
love that.
yes. And so, as I started practicing kindness to be better for my nieces and nephews, what it was doing is because of that consistent work, it was already transforming me inside. And I realized that although it started off as them being my why, it ended up with me being my why. Because in order
Mm,
for me to be better, in order for me to do the work of kindness and love and compassion, um, it has to be within me. So it doesn't matter the outside factors, they contributed it, but it was making sure that I am doing my part for humanity because we all belong to each other. And so how I did it, and there were days, Gail, at the very beginning when I, decided to do the videos, there were days where I just didn't want to do it. And I said, well, you've made a commitment. You said that this is what you were going to do. And, I had grown a little bit of a following, if you will. And there was this one lady, her name was Gwen. She passed away a few months ago. When her name was Gwen, and Gwen had started with me at the very beginning. She was literally one of my first comments, or it was maybe a month in or so, but Gwen was with me. She had started the journey with me when I started doing these videos, and every day she would comment,
oh, well,
good advice, hello, good to see you, every single day, right? And so it's on the days where it was hard, I thought about Gwen. I said, "Oh,
mhm.
Gwen's waiting on me. Let me let me let me get up. Let me make a video. Gwen's gonna be wondering what's happening." And then I
She's
realized
expecting
that,
you.
yeah, I realized it was bigger than me. It
Ah,
was because we are all in this world together, and I firmly believe that we belong to each other. I firmly believe that we're all interconnected. And
absolutely.
so because of that, that was the motivation. It was we can change the world, but we change it by starting with ourselves and then by um, consistently making little changes, consistently taking little steps forward, because a one step forward is still a step forward. Even
Right.
when you get knocked back a couple steps, the next day you make another step forward. And so sometimes it's a back and forth situation, but I believe in forward movement. I believe in humanity. And on the days that I'm not motivated, I take some deep breaths. I say a prayer, and I just get up and go because I want to leave a mark of kindness in the world. We're all going to leave here at some point. And for the rest of my days, my job is to leave little pebbles of kindness in the world.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Your contribution is remarkable. And
Oh, thank you.
when I see you online every day, I'm like, I just, wow. I think I'm like the go-getter, get it done girl, but oh my gosh, you have like shown me up the way because you show up every single day on social media. And you know from past experience that I'm the worst at selfies right now. And I'm affirming now that I'm really good at doing selfies. So I can
Yes, you are.
get better at it. Because I haven't been so great at it in the past, but that doesn't matter because that doesn't have to be the place where I stay, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
the constant reminders is like on this 10-year journey, I've probably read well over 200 books on various self-help things,
Hmm.
spiritualism, mental health, this, that, and the other. I'm a bit of a nerd. So I love things
Me
that
too.
yeah, I love things that have like a scientific basis. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, there's the metaphysical thing, and I kind of get all that too. But at the same time, I kind of want concrete evidence that this stuff works.
Yeah.
So I love that science is now exploring so much of what goes on in the brain and how it works, and that it's
Hmm.
neuroplastic all the way up until the day we die. I mean, so if you're 80 years old and you've lived a life of strife forever, there is no reason why you can't change your thinking. And the beauty of it is you just change your thinking.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's profound, right? Like the
Yeah.
only person who thinks in your head is you. No one can make you think anything you don't want to think.
Exactly.
And if you can just flip the script a little bit and double down on making yourself feel better, think choosing thoughts and choosing actions that make you feel good and make you feel aligned to your purpose, then
Yeah.
there literally is no stopping you. Other than those moments when those negative, patterns that have been living inside you for however many years you've been alive crop up again, you
Yeah.
just have to face them head on and remember I'm on a different path now.
Yeah.
Now that I think that's been the one big thing I've learned, it's just the consistency is
Hmm.
what breeds the change.
Yeah.
So, and anytime I try a new consistent thing, so I have a nice new consistent thing I'm doing. Like, I'm really more invested in like my body, right?
Okay.
Will say one of the things that I've gotten out of the habit of doing is drinking a decent amount of water every day. So now I'm tracking it every day. But I will guarantee you over the last 2 weeks, I maybe tracked it 4 or 5 times, not 14 days, because I get busy and I
Yeah,
forget.
yeah, yeah.
But I don't beat myself up anymore. I think, oh, I just noticed I hadn't done it. I'm going to catch up for today and tomorrow. Going to do a better job. And
Yeah.
so far, so good. It keeps, but as I keep doing it,
Hmm.
the more I do it, the more it's going to stick.
A hundred
That's
percent.
with anything, exercise, whatever. That's
Yeah.
the trick.
It is the trick, and it's also your mindset because you've mentioned a couple times about changing your thinking, and because you're the only person in your head, and when you start looking for kindness, when you start looking for that, you see more of it, right?
I agree. I noticed
Yeah,
that in COVID. I started posting like, good news stories when I would find them because everything was so crummy.
yeah.
And I had several people post that back saying, thank goodness you posted this. I really needed that today.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's the best feedback I think as a creator, either you or I can probably get is just someone like Gwen posting and just saying, hey, I'm looking for you,
Yeah. Good old Gwen.
or hey, thanks for putting this out there. And I think people forget to do that. So one of the things I'm trying to be more intentional about too is when I see good stuff, make it a comment,
Yeah,
like even if it's just like, thanks for putting that out there, you know,
yeah.
because the more of us that do it, the less of this just negative stuff we see on social media and in the media. Because the media is, I went to journalism school, and one of the things was, every plane that
It,
lands at DFW airport safely every day is no news story, but the one that
right,
crashes, that's a news story. So, but
right.
that's why news is always so negative. Is it's like it's the unusual. um, I'm on a mission to make the kind the unusual, like the people are
Yeah,
so extraordinarily kind that that's news,
right, right. Or the norm, right?
or the
Because
norm. Yeah,
or the norm because you get those videos where there's a kindness video and people are like we need more of this in the world and oh my goodness like kind I don't think kindness should be a revelation. I think it should just be the way we are.
right. And then we
Yeah,
can like, and as we're inspired, letting people know when we get inspired too. And I will
right.
admit, I'm not always good at doing that, but in 2026, I want to do more of that. Like give shout outs to people that's like, hey, you posted something about this, and that really inspired me,
Yeah,
and
100%.
and
And it's
pass the love like you talk about.
exactly. And it's just those little nods. I think we need more of that. I try to stay out of comments of social media. Like if I see a video, I do a pretty good job of not reading comments because it's people feel that they can just say whatever they want to say on
Yeah.
a social media post. And I'm not talking about my videos. I'm talking about just like, random videos or whatever, or whatever's happening out in the world. And my thought is that you didn't you didn't have to type that. Like
Didn't need to
maybe
go
you didn't
there.
like it, maybe you didn't agree with it, but you didn't have to say anything. You could have just kept going and lived your life but it was intentional that you went and decided that I am going to leave a negative comment.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm that doesn't have to be. And if we leave more kind comments and we leave more goodness out there, then I think that also helps combat the negative as well.
Yeah. And I don't know if your mother ever said this to you when you were a kid, because I would remember my mom always saying, it's like, if you don't have anything nice to say, just
Oh,
don't say anything at
100%.
all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like, whatever happened to that wisdom? It's like it flew out the window with social media.
Man, it flew out the window with social media because people can say stuff online that they would not. I think I'm almost positive that they wouldn't. The things that are said on social media, I don't think people would say that to someone's face.
Yeah.
Like if they were face to face with that same person, and I don't think they would. Whatever comment that was, I don't think they would verbalize that in front of someone. And so and my thing is that then why say it online? Then
Right.
yeah,
Well,
we
and I think
gotta, I don't know
sometimes
what's happened
people,
in the world that we think it's okay to do that.
yeah, like you're somehow anonymous, like you don't have to own your own comment.
Yeah.
Just put it out there, and it's almost like, your evil twin put it out there, and you don't have to take any responsibility for it. But it's hurting your soul somewhere. I
And
guarantee you,
that's what it is,
it
Gail.
came from you.
It's also hurting you. You think you're saying you're trying to be funny or sarcastic or snarky, whatever you're trying to get some kind of uh, response, but you're also wiring yourself as well because
Yeah.
whatever you're doing, like we talked about, whatever you're doing consistently, that's what's going to keep coming up. So you're going to keep seeing negative comments. You're going to keep seeing the world through a negative lens because that's what you're focused on. But if you make it intentional to make the choice to start looking at the world differently, then everything changes. Everything opens up for
It
you.
does. And it's kind of
Yeah.
remarkable, right? Because when you're in
It
it to win
really
it,
is.
right? You're like having to work hard at it for a while.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you're like, I wake up happier. And it just happens one day. I don't know if that happened to you.
Yeah,
It's
it
like it
did.
happened to me one day. I just woke up one morning because I had gone to bed and I was struggling with a person. And I said, I forgive you and I let you go.
Oh,
I
wow.
let this
That is
situation,
powerful.
yeah, I was like, I just forgive you and I forgive myself. And I went to sleep. So I was in that theta state of mind, right? Right before you go to sleep. It's a very powerful time of the day, which people I don't think really truly appreciate how powerful it is. That's why they say don't watch the news before bed and don't doom scroll before you go to sleep because that's all in your head.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The next morning I woke up and it was like that situation that we were dealing with. I was like, it's not insurmountable. We will solve it.
Mhm.
And I've just felt happy. Where when I was going to bed, I felt pretty angsty about it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And that was, I think, probably the one moment where I was like, oh, all this work I've been doing, this is why I did
I
it.
love
Like
that.
this
Yeah.
is why. And
Yeah.
now, if I look back 10 years and I think, wow, to actually try to be that person I was 10 years ago, like if I had to go back and try to ramp it back up, it would take me years to get back to it because I'd have to reinstall all that gunk
Hmm.
and I don't want to, so I'm not gonna. But but I mean, if I
Please
want to
don't.
be that way, yes, please don't. We'd want to be happier people. And I'm like, I couldn't do it if I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can't behave that way anymore. And it's the most freeing feeling in the world. Because one of the things that would always come up through my healing journey, especially when I was working with different people, they're just like, you need freedom. Like, I don't like to be hemmed in. And that's a whole long story, is subconsciously where that comes from.
Hmm.
But I don't like to be hemmed in. And the true freedom is actually just letting it all go.
Just gotta let it go.
Oh my gosh.
And
And
it
when you're there,
seems
you're like,
like,
this is so
yeah, yeah. And at the time, it seems like, what do you mean let it go? I can't let it go. They did this, they said that, but you have the power to let it go.
just gotta let it go. Yeah.
Just gotta let it
And
go.
people talk about it a lot. And I have people ask me this, if I coach them or, just having conversations, they're like, but how do you do that? And I always my best advice to somebody is you do it first by saying you're willing to let it go. Like
Hmm.
start programming your mind like I'm willing to do it because a lot of it's just resistance,
Yeah,
because we got the inner critic and we got all this stuff going on. All it is just resistance. And
yeah,
saying I'm willing to do it differently is a good start, and
exactly.
repeat that for as long as you need to until it starts becoming truth is kind of my best advice.
Yeah, and then also understand that I know we've talked about this before, is that other people's opinions of you or what other people are doing has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And they may be saying something negative about you, but
Mhm.
that has nothing to do with you.
Right.
And I
It's their own
struggled with that.
thought
Yeah.
in their head.
Oh, 100%. And like somebody told me that a while back and I didn't understand what they meant. I was like, what do you mean? But they're saying that about me. What are you saying? They're like, that has nothing to do with you. That says more about them than it does you. I'm like, I don't understand until I understood. And then I said, ah, I get it.
Yeah. And you got to
I
hear
get
it
it.
a few times sometimes, and it has to come at you from different angles. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I get
Yeah.
it
Like
now.
that has nothing to do with me.
That is not a doggone thing. How freeing is that, right? It's like other
So
people's
amazing.
opinions and me don't matter. Well, and it's because you're like the most unique individual that you can possibly be because there is no other Louisa Garrett on this planet, and it never has been, and never will be. Just
Exactly.
like there's no other Gail Goodman Lynch on this planet, I guarantee you, because I've Googled myself 100 times. I am the only one. But truly, I am the only one who does it the way I do it. And
Yeah,
I can't compare myself to you or anyone else because there is no comparison. There's no apples to apples.
there is no comparison, and we all have our own gifts, our own talents. Like we are here at this very moment for a reason.
Absolutely.
And the way that you do life, we were born with our talents, I believe. We were born with our gifts. So we came into the world with them. And it's just
Mhm.
up to us to activate them. And someone else can have the same talent or gift as you, but like you just said, they're going to do it their way and you're going to do it your way.
Yeah.
They can't use your gift the way you would use your gift, even if y'all have the same gift.
Yes, absolutely. You see it in actors. It's like really obvious, right? Because
Hmm.
it's like there's so many people who act. They have a talent for acting. But, Julia Roberts and, some other actress, I'm trying to think, Glenn Close, let's say, are
Yeah.
two completely different actresses. Like they do things
Yeah.
differently. I would never put one of them in the same role as the other and expect them to be exactly the same because they're not.
Yeah.
And not that we're all going around acting all day long. A lot of us do act all day
No, but
long.
that's a
But
great analogy because Julia Roberts is like one of my absolute favorite actresses in the whole world, and Glenn Close is amazing. Like she is a powerful actress as well. But like you said, they do it. They're doing it the exact same thing, but they're doing it differently.
yeah,
Like they're
because
both
no one would ever
acting.
cast them the
They're
same.
both acting, but Julia has her spin on it. She's putting her gift on it. Glenn is putting her gift on it, and it creates it creates amazing. It create that was magic. Woo!
It was magic. You get
It
woo,
creates
called
magic. It
it.
creates magic. And so, but you have to use your gifts. You have to figure out a way to tap into them and then get out there and walk in your purpose. I know that's a cliche saying, but cliches are cliches for a reason, right? And so,
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
it kind of exists because there's a lot of truth under them somewhere.
there's a lot of truth
Yeah.
under them, and you have purpose and you have to start walking in it, not just existing, but truly living and being bold with your life and your gifts and your talents and sharing your heart with the world.
And I think as you were saying that, I think there's also a really strong point to make in that, especially in the social media world. And for Gen Zers who are watching this, which will probably be none because, they're all on TikTok. Um, but, there's a performance-based level of this. There's a performance expectation. Like you
Hmm.
somehow have to be doing all this stuff very visibly. Like, oh, like you do get on social media every day and do this very visibly, but for the rest of your day, you're out also still being kind. You don't
Yeah.
have to go out and do a video every single day to be a kinder person.
No, you could just do that in your life. Like
Yeah,
you
just show
you
up.
just show up. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. You just show up as your kind being. Because no matter how people operate, I think we were wired in kindness and in love. But it's just how like you said, the first 70 years of your life, the stuff that's been put on you, your environment, but the core of you, I believe, is kindness and love. And we just have to tap into the
yeah,
part of it.
absolutely. And we are all made of love. But what a great thing to discover too, and also freeing. Because it's
Yeah.
like, wow, if I'm actually made of love, then I'm already like 99% of the way there. I just got to put in a
You're
little bit more effort and I am good.
you just got to put in just a little bit more effort. That's it.
That's all I gotta do. So that's what the season of Choice Wisdom is going to be about. And you and I've talked about this. We're like, you know what? We're just going to keep having these conversations
Yeah.
around topics. And what's funny is the first recording that we did of this podcast, we actually jumped into season or episode 2 because we were talking about judgment. It's
Yeah,
like that's going
yeah.
to be the next episode that we do. But then we realize, whoa, wait a minute, we got to actually back up and actually do the introductory episode so people know why in the world should they even be listening to us?
Who are
So
these people?
who are these people? And then, I've got several people who have reached out because I honestly too do believe that you attract what is needed for you at that exact time, right? Everything
100%.
happens in the divine right time. So I've had like two or three people now just show up out of nowhere saying, "Hey, I'd love to be interviewed on the podcast." So I'm like, "You seem like a really good fit." So we'll be doing some interviews, we'll be
Yeah.
doing some one-on-one. We've even talked about, and if anyone wants to get in touch with us directly on choicewisdompodcast.com, like, send us your Dear Abby kind of stuff. Like, if you're
Yes.
dealing with something and you're like, how
Yes.
would you guys deal with this obnoxious
We
person?
want the questions.
We will take your questions.
Yeah.
And then we'll try to convert them into loving kindness in the world, and a lot of smiling too. So I
Yeah.
have to say, I have to thank you while we're on this episode, because when we were recording our other trial balloon the other day, we were talking about, what are some of the things that you can do that, make, kind of show up in your life more. And you were like, you just need to smile more. And you said that, and I was like, that is so true. And then I was realizing I'm a kind of serious person. I'm much more
Yeah.
serious than I think I am, and I don't smile enough. And I smile a lot, but I was like, when you said that, I've been walking around like a smiling fool.
I love that. I love
I
that for
was like,
you.
I need to smile more. I'm just, I get in it and I get like,
Yeah. It
and
just makes you feel better, I think. I
it
don't
does. If you
know.
wake up and I like literally in the morning, bathroom mirror, I get up and I'm like,
You're just like,
Gail, this is gonna be a great day, but that big smile, I'm like, all right, my day's good now, and I'm just smiling wherever I go.
yeah, smiling and laughter. I mean, laughter too. Laughter is key.
Laughter. Oh, yes.
Man, you have to laugh. All right, I don't think we laugh at it. And it's funny because, there's all these studies about babies, like babies laugh like 500 times a day, something like that.
Oh,
And I
wow.
think
I wouldn't, that doesn't surprise me.
it does it right.
Yeah.
And they say the longer you live, the less you laugh. And I
Mhm.
don't know the exact numbers, so I'm just gonna throw a couple out there. But I think it said like when you get into your 20s and 30s, you're only laughing like 20 times a day. And
Oh,
when
wow.
you're like, I think I'll look it up and we can talk about it on one of our
Ooh, we'll have to
episodes
talk about it
about
on a
laugh.
future
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
talk about laughter
But I
as
think it's around
the
20
best
times a
medicine.
day as an adult. But
Okay.
a baby laughs almost 500 times a day.
Dang.
That's why babies are so, everyone loves a baby because they're so joyful and they're like, because it's in them. You were born that way. And
Right.
then
And
and then the
they have
world
no
gets to you.
shame. They have
Yeah,
no expectations. They don't know that anybody wants them to act a certain way.
exactly.
Right.
They're just doing what they're wired to do. And I think we need to laugh more because that brings so much joy. But yeah, let's look at that study and see if we can talk about that.
Yeah, we definitely need to put that on the list too.
Yeah,
So we've got
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot coming this season. I think
yeah.
we are
We
going to
do.
talk about a lot of really fun things. So this one's more of an introductory episode, sort of like, why the heck should you listen to us three? And hopefully you think that that's a good idea going forward, because we're going to be talking about choices. We are going to be talking about ways you can just create the life you want all the time, because it is not a once and done. As I mentioned before, it's like, I constantly need reminders personally to be joyful, to laugh more, to smile more, which you
Yeah.
gave me that reminder the other day. Um, and the whole purpose of this podcast is tune in and we're going to talk about these types of things. And then hopefully that next, week or so, you can remember it and be like, "Ooh, I do need to smile more," or, "Ooh, I don't want to be thinking those thoughts," or, I want to get out in the world and be me more."
Yes.
That's all inspiration, man. So keep making great choices and stay inspired, as I always say. And what are your taglines on your
Ooh,
videos?
the choice is yours. You get to choose
Yes.
fantastic, make kind loud, and always, always, always pass the love.
Pass the love. That's my favorite. Just pass the love. Just hand it over. Here it comes.
Hand it over,
So,
pass it on over there.
all right. So we're going to be back for our next episode very, very soon. And
Yes.
we are going to talk about judgment, because that was a whole lot of fun. We're going to go right back over that and do it again.
Yeah.
But that's the next one. And we hope that everybody tunes back in. Don't miss us. And if you have comments, questions, drop them, below. Get in touch with us and follow us on social so you can find, what is your handle on Facebook again?
Make Kind Loud.
Yours is Made Kind Loud, and
Yeah,
mine,
well, or you can, I'm Louisa Garrett. You
just
can do
find
that.
Louisa Garrett because you do
Yeah,
have a creator page and it is a public page.
that is
And then
correct.
the Choice Wisdom podcast is under Gail Goodman Lynch, and you can find that on Facebook too. And then I'm
Yeah,
always out on LinkedIn because I do most of my any of the consulting that I do is usually with entrepreneurs. So I'm more of a professional LinkedIn gal, but you also post on LinkedIn every day too. So if that's your jam,
yep,
you're more of a, professional,
yep. And then
you can
on
find us there too.
TikTok and Instagram,
Oh, that's right. You do TikTok.
I put it on all the things, Gail. I put
You're
it on all the
everywhere.
things.
You're going to inspire me to keep doing more and more. So, thank you for listening to this episode of the Choice Wisdom Podcast. The opinions expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the owners or producers of this podcast. The information shared on this podcast is intended to inspire you, but it is not presented as financial, legal, or medical advice. Choice Wisdom is edited by the amazing marketing team at It's a Good Sign, our sponsor located in Dallas, Texas. Copyright 2026, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit choicewisdompodcast.com.